Bonjour Nancy. Hey Terry, hey Barbara. Bonjour les amis. Bienvenue. Welcome to the seventh heaven. My little studio under Parisian rooftops. My friend Juliette Armanet is welcoming you with her beautiful songs. Hey Lois. Mary Beth. Hey June. Bonjour Joyce. I'll wait a few minutes. Bonjour Anne. Coucou Gail. Bonjour Kevin. Juliette. Cindy. Hey Jen. Bonjour Jen. Okay, 66 people here already. We're going to be able to start very soon. Okay. Monique is here. Marcia. Dennis. Bonjour Dennis. We have a few gentlemen. I see a lot of ladies' names. Welcome to the gentlemen as well. Bienvenue les amis. Bienvenue to the seventh heaven under the Parisian rooftops. Bonjour Claudine. That is one great song. The singer is Juliette Armanet. She's very young, about 30 years old, from northern France. Bonjour Woodinville. My old neighborhood. All right, 77 people are here already. I think we're ready to start. Hey Google, volume 2 s'il te plaît. Coucou! Comment ça va? Coucou tout le monde! Ça va? I am so happy to see you! Bonjour, bonjour! Bonjour everyone! By now you're used to my little spot in the kitchen. In the seventh heaven kitchen. Is everybody doing okay today? France has entered a fourth week of confinement. And I know a lot of you are there as well. Ça va bien? Très bien? Good, good, good. Are you ready to hear about Paris and France? About food and maybe a little bit of wine too? Yeah, très bien, excellent. 80 people are here already. Fantastic. Hey, Bob. Another gentleman. Bob is going to start taking French classes with me pretty soon. We're starting our online French classes very soon. Excellent. Bonjour from Colorado. Well, bonjour from Paris, France. So I have a fun program for you today. For those of you who don't know me yet, I am Véronique Véro, a French girl who lived in the United States for more than 2 decades, hence the name, French girl in Seattle. And I relocated back to Paris about a year ago. I am now a Parisian once again. I used to live here before I went to Seattle. So it's been a lot of fun, many adventures. I've been a travel blogger for 10 years. I am a French language instructor. Bonjour, bonjour Phyllis. And I'm also a tour guide. Last year I toured with Rick Steves Europe. I also ran my own tours in Paris. So I do a lot of things, but they all have one thing in common. Paris, France, the French culture, the French language, and my passion for France. And I love to share it in any way I can, which is why I started those Apéro with Véro every Saturday. This is our third one. So thank you if you're back. Thank you for joining us. Bonjour, Oliver. More wine. Yes, Oliver. We'll get there. We'll get there. So 88 people. Fantastic. This is great. So today I have a few fun things. If you've read the description that I posted in on Facebook and Instagram, you kind of already know what we're going to do. I thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of structure. I can kind of see your questions and comments as they scroll by, though they go fast sometimes, but I'll try and keep up. So today I would like to take you to be your tour guide, to show you a corner of Paris where a lot of people don't really go when they visit Paris. And it happens to be a part of Paris where I live, so I know it pretty well. I'll be your tour guide today if you'd like to join me. And I have an assistant tour guide today. My assistant tour guide is going to be my old friend Charles Trénet. So if you've been here for the first 2 episodes of Apéro with Véro, you already know, salut, salut, we in France is here. So you already know that Charles Trénet is a huge icon in France. He was very popular from the 30s through 50s, and he's still popular today. He's just an iconic artist. He's a poet, a singer, and he just represents, like I said, French joie de vivre. And I know a lot of you have gone and checked him out since I mentioned him and have really enjoyed listening to his music because it just makes you so happy. So today, Charles, my friend Charles Trénet, is going to be my assistant tour guide because Charles and I had one thing in common. He used to live, and I live now in the same section of the Parisian woods. And we're right outside Paris, but it's still considered Paris, of course. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoy Charles as well. So I thought we would start with looking at some photos of Charles' life and career. And then we will take you, Charles and I, to that special corner of the Parisian woods where he used to live, where he lived for 50 years, and where I'm living now and used to live before when I was a college student. So do you want to do that? Does that sound like a plan? La Mer. Yeah, La Mer was one of his great songs. It's one of his most famous ones, actually. Yeah. So let's see. I'm going to get this thing ready. And now, if you know me a little bit, you know that everything I do is a little bit artisanal because I'm not a techie. So it'll be just like life, imperfect. Okay? So, mais oui, okay, I see we have a lot of people in agreement. 88 people are here already. Wonderful, wonderful. So let us look at Charles Trénet's life. I will switch this around. Quick. All right, we're going to do it like this, if you don't mind. Can you see everybody? I hope so. I think you can. Okay. So this is Charles Trénet, Chante la joie. Charles Trénet is singing joy. And if you remember the song we listened to last week, Il y a de la joie, there is joy. You know indeed that he had a lot of joy in him. Bonjour, bonjour. If you just arrived, we're just starting. I'm taking you to a special place in Paris with the help of my assistant tour guide today, the great Charles Trénet. So, yep, Phyllis says she's on. Okay, she's happy with the plan, so we'll proceed. So Charles Trénet had a huge career. He was born in southern France in a city called Narbonne. And if you know southern France, Narbonne is southwest of Montpellier. So he's buried there, and he was born in there, but he moved to Paris right away. Pretty much when he was 18, he went to Paris and became an artist. This is a beautiful mural that's in Narbonne, his hometown. It's based on a drawing that he made on a paper napkin. Bonsoir. Yeah, I see you. Bienvenue. This is based on something he drew on a paper napkin, and they used it for the mural. So this is Charles with his iconic blue eyes and his iconic hat that he always wore, kind of tilted like that. And what it says is, fidèle, je suis resté fidèle. So faithful, I have remained faithful. It's actually a quote from one of his songs. À Narbonne, mon ami. To Narbonne, the city, my friend. So this is what you see if you go to Narbonne. I see we have some people who know Narbonne. This is Charles when he was on stage, probably in the 40s. Lively performer, kind of rolling his eyes and making crazy faces. So they nicknamed him Le Fou Chantant, the crazy singing man. Here he is, jumping on the Eiffel Tower. He jumped around quite a lot. And this is him at the end of his life. He died when he was 87 years old. And even though there were times when he was around and times when he wasn't, Charles Trénet was really hugely popular and came back. And he was still on stage a few years before he died. In fact, in this photo, he's probably in his early 80s. Of course, he made a lot of famous friends and not so famous friends, but I bet you recognize this young woman on the right-hand side. She was, that's Edith Piaf, of course, and she knew him pretty well. He's very young on this photo as well. Here he is at the end of his life with another icon in French music, French and European music. It's Dalida. If you ever visited Montmartre, you've probably seen her house, you've probably seen the bust. There is a statue there as a tribute to Dalida, and they were pretty good friends. Unfortunately, she passed away years ago, and so did Charles, about 20 years ago. Here he is at the end of his life as well with Charles Aznavour, the great Charles Aznavour, who left us a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if they sang in a duet, actually. I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure that Charles and Dalida sang together. I don't see why not. Let's continue. So just to show you that Charles is still pretty much, about 20 years after his death, he's still pretty much around, especially now that people are confined at home and need to be cheered up all the time. I hear that on Spotify, Charles Trénet music is going strong right now. This is a little album, a little booklet for children. It says My First Songs by Charles Trénet, and so the kids can learn the lyrics and they can listen to the songs and learn them early on. And a lot of, yes, the two Charles, that's right, Sylvain. And here is a tribute. This is pretty recent. A group of young French artists did this album, which is beautiful. It looks like a Chagall painting. And you see Charles in the middle like an angel with his famous hat. And it says, The Extraordinary Garden of Charles Trénet, after one of his famous songs called The Extraordinary Garden, a very poetic song. So as you can see, he continues to inspire people. So his career, like I said, was really big from the 30s through the 50s. The 60s, you know, music changed in the 60s. The Beatles, the Yé singers here in France, and he kind of disappeared for a while. But what happened was during the war, he continued performing and singing like a lot of French artists, which means at the end of the war, he kind of got in trouble. And people wanted to know if he had collaborated with the Germans, and he looked like he did because he was singing throughout the war and kept performing. He didn't get in as much trouble as others did, but he decided after the war, after 1945, to travel the world and tour the world for a few years. So let's say between 1945 and 1954, for about 9 years, he toured extensively in Canada. He loved Canada. And he went to New York. He was very popular in New York City as well when he got on stage. He went to Mexico. He went to Latin America. But every time he'd fly back and forth between France and he'd come back to Paris where he lived. And so now I'm going to show you where Charles lived in Paris. And after this, we will listen to the song he wrote about it. Let's see. Bonjour, coucou. I see all the cuckoos. All right, little bit of French geography here. Let's use this opportunity to learn a little bit here. I don't know if you realize this, but France is divided into into 12 administrative regions. This is fairly new. There used to be more, but metropolitan France, which is known as the hexagon because of its shape, has 12 regions in it. And the one we are very interested in is the blue one here, because it's called Île-de-France, Island of France, and this is where Paris is, okay? So we are going to focus, to narrow down on this specific area. Now, each of these regions is subdivided into other administrative divisions. They're called départements. Do you see how, for example, the blue one here has a lot of subdivisions? So it's all administrative, and there's regional and there is local government, etc., etc. But the département, those smaller ones, they're identified by 2 digits. And those are the 2 digits that you will find on zip codes, for example, or on car license plates. It used to be a great way to teach kids geography, French geography, as people were driving around France looking at license plates. So right now, what you see is the map of France, and what I want to do is narrow down on the blue one we had, which is Île-de-France. And so Île-de-France, island of France, has Paris in the middle. The first département, there's 8 of them. Paris, downtown, is one of them. So in case you were wondering why the zip codes of your hotel in downtown Paris or your apartment rental always starts with 75, well, that's because this is Paris. It's that specific section of Île-de-France. Now, as you can see, we have other sections all around it. About 2.1, 2.2 million people live down here in the red section downtown. But if you add all the other sections, you have more than 11 million people living around Paris. Not everybody can afford to live in the red section. Not everybody can afford to live in the orange section as well. A lot of people live outside of the orange section. If you are an American expat, very often you will move to the 92 section here west of Paris, or Les Yvelines, where Versailles is located, in the 78. That's a very popular area. It's very pretty, lots of trees, and a lot of expats love moving there. However, there are other beautiful areas. And so, oh, I see somebody saying technical difficulties for me. I'm not sure what you mean. So, we have le Val de Marne. Le Val de Marne is 94. And this is where I am taking you today with the help of my assistant, Charles Trénet. When Charles Trénet bought a house in Paris, he bought a house in le Val de Marne. Now, I live there, and if you follow my adventures on Facebook or on the French Call in Seattle blog, you see the pictures I post almost every day of this beautiful part of Paris known as le Val de Marne, because I live in Vincennes. But there are other lovely towns in that area, and there is also a great river known as la Marne, M-A-R-N-E. So la Marne is one of the longest in France, actually, and it meanders. So along la Marne, which is a very peaceful river, you will see a lot of islands. And it's kind of a best-kept secret, really, in the Paris area. A lot of people never go there, and I guarantee you most visitors never go there. So let's continue our little tour. Charles loved his mother. He never got married. His mother was named Marie-Louise, and he used to joke, "She is the same age as the Eiffel Tower." That's because Marie-Louise was born in October of 1889, the same year the Eiffel Tower was inaugurated. And when Charles bought his house in the eastern outskirts of Paris, he bought a big piece of property, and he set up his mother in a big villa at the entrance of the property, and then he built another house at the back of the property where he had his own space. So this way, Charles was able to live with his mother pretty much until she died. He was in that house for about 50 years. And then when he was getting really old, he sold it and bought an apartment, but stayed in that part of Paris in a different town called Nogent-sur-Marne. Okay? So, I hope you're enjoying my little story. I kind of think he had a pretty cool life, Charles Trénet. Here is the house. So he's standing at the back of the property in front, very proudly, in front of his house. This was his part of the property. His mom's is not to be seen, I guess. The house is still there today. Of course, it's been sold many times since then. But this is what makes this area special. The beautiful Marne River and the islands along the Marne and all the walkways. So it's beautiful year-round. And in the summer, they have cruises. You can get on small boats on the weekends, and you can actually go down the Marne River and enjoy the sights. And of course, the lucky people are the ones who have houses right by the river. Charles had a house overlooking the river. Here is what you can do in the summer. So when everybody's piled up on those boats on the Seine River, you could be there hop on the RER. That's how you get there, and then just go on a little cruise, peaceful cruise on a Sunday or so along the Marne. This is one of many islands, but this one is special. It's called l'Île d'Amour, the island of love. And Charles, his house overlooked l'Île d'Amour. And so that, somebody's asking what area of Paris. This is the Val de Marne, which is east of Paris, right on the outskirts of Paris. It's one of the 8 sections, administrative sections that make up the Île-de-France, the island of France, and Paris sits right in the middle of that. Okay? So I can send some information after the, oops. So l'Île d'Amour was that island that he overlooked from his house. And many years after his death, I think around 2012, an artist made a beautiful statue of 2 lovers looking at the island. The statue is called l'Île d'Amour, the island of love, and you can see them up there. But at the foot, you can also see Charles' iconic hat. And on the pedestal, the words of the song we're going to listen to next are actually printed, because this is the song that he dedicated to this lovely place where he lived for 50 years. Bonjour, bonjour, happy Easter. I'm sorry I'm not greeting everybody. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm trying to tell a story about a great guy and a great part of Paris right now, where I happen to live, and I'm very lucky. So, this is, I think, the last photo. So what I'd like to do, let's see. So Charles, we did this last week, and I think you enjoyed it, that we looked at the words first and translated the lyrics. So Charles moved to that small town called Saint-Maur-des-Fossés. And Saint-Maur-des-Fossés was originally, an abbey was built there in the 7th century. And a village, a community grew around that abbey. And then another small village was called La Varenne St Hilaire. And this is exactly where Charles had his house. So you will see that in the song, he refers to La Varenne. He refers to the beautiful Bois de Vincennes that is right outside my front door, the largest green space in Paris. So it kind of tickles me pink to think that Charles and I, you know, we had the same background. So of course he was the lucky one. He overlooked the beautiful Marne River. I don't see a river from my little windows, but still, we were in the same neck of the Parisian woods, and he was here for 50 years, so that makes me feel really special, actually. Saint-Maur-des-Fossés, La Varenne St Hilaire, Nogent-sur-Marne, beautiful towns to discover over there. So let's look at the song, shall we? The song is called Revoir Paris, to see Paris again. And you can see it was written in 1947, just 2 years after the end of World War II. And at that point, Charles was already touring in Canada, in the United States, but he kept flying back and forth. And the legend has it that he wrote this song in the plane one day, flying to Paris to be reunited with his house by the Marne River, with his mother who was waiting for him. And a lot of people consider this one of his prettiest songs. So I think I will try and translate it for you, and then we will play it, okay? Revoir Paris, to see Paris again. Un petit séjour d'un mois. I'm trying to film very well so you can see. There you go. Un petit séjour d'un mois, just for a month's stay. Revoir Paris, to see Paris again. Et me retrouver chez moi, and to find myself at home. Seul sous la pluie, alone in the rain, parmi la foule des grands boulevards, among the crowds of the grands boulevards in downtown Paris. Quelle joie inouïe, what immense joy, d'aller au hasard, to go randomly, prendre un taxi, take a cab, qui va le long de la Seine, that follows the Seine, et me revoici, and here I am again, au fond du Bois de Vincennes, at the back of the Bois de Vincennes, roulant joyeux, happily riding, vers ma maison de banlieue, towards my house in the suburbs, où ma mère m'attend les larmes aux yeux, where my mother is waiting with tears in her eyes, le cœur content and a happy heart. Mon Dieu, que tout le monde est gentil. My God, how nice everybody is. Mon Dieu, quel sourire à la vie. My God, what a beautiful smile to life. Mon Dieu, merci. My God, thank you. Mon Dieu, merci d'être ici. My God, thank you for being here. Ce n'est pas un rêve. It's not a dream. C'est l'île d'amour que je vois. That should be capitalized. It's the island of love that I see. Remember, that's the island he saw across the river from his windows. Le jour se lève, the day is rising, et sèche les pleurs des bois, and dries the tears in the woods. So that's a reference to dew on the leaves, you know, the sun just dries up the dew on the leaves. Dans la petite gare, in the little train station, un sémaphore appelle ces gens. A semaphore is calling people. Tous ces braves gens, all these good people, de la Varenne, the small town where he lived, of la Varenne and Nogent. Bonjour la vie. Good morning life. Bonjour mon vieux soleil. Good morning my old sun. Bonjour mamie. Good morning my love. Bonjour l'automne vermeil. Good morning fall with your beautiful red colors. Je suis un enfant. I am a child. Rien qu'un enfant, tu sais. Just a child, you know. Je suis un petit Français. I'm just a little French guy. Rien qu'un enfant. Just a child. Tout simplement. Quite simply. And it ends with the word, as you will hear, Paris. Okay, so this is the song known as Revoir Paris. And it's also called Retour à Paris. Return to Paris. Okay, so go back. What did you think of the words? Bonjour la vie. I see people talking about guimauve, so I totally missed that. I was reading and translating. So I'm going to try to get this ready for you. And we will be able to listen to Charles. Hey Google, arrête s'il te plaît. Sorry, had to interrupt Juliette. Hello Jennifer, hello. How is Jocelyn? How is everyone? Good. All right, so now we are going to, yes, I'll make sure to save it. I goofed last week, but I'll make sure to save it. Now that we listened to the song and I translated it, I'm going to play it so you can enjoy Charles Trénet singing that beautiful song called Revoir Paris. Okay? And what I'll do is I'll hold this so you can read. YouTube is sending me a commercial. Sorry, my friends. Like I said, artisanal. All right, where's my shawl? Sorry, now I have to type. Okay, he's back. Come on, Charles. Feel free to sing, huh? Can you hear everyone? Okay.
Revoir Paris. Un petit séjour d'un mois. Revoir Paris. Et me retrouver chez moi. Seul sous la pluie. Parmi la foule des grands boulevards. Quelle joie inouïe d'aller ainsi au hasard. Prendre un taxi qui va le long de la Seine. Et me revoici au fond du bois de Vincennes, roulant joyeux vers ma maison de banlieue.
Oups.
Où ma mère m'attend, les larmes aux yeux, le cœur content. Mon Dieu, que tout le monde est gentil. Mon Dieu, quel sourire à la vie. Mon Dieu, merci. Mon Dieu, merci d'être ici.
Best part.
N'est pas un rêve. C'est l'île d'amour que je vois. Le jour se lève et sèche les pleurs des bois. Dans la petite gare, un sémaphore appelle ces gens. tous ces braves gens de la Varenne et de Nogent. Bonjour la vie, bonjour mon vieux soleil, bonjour mamie, bonjour l'automne vers mai. Je suis un enfant, rien qu'un enfant, tu sais. Je suis un petit Français, rien qu'un enfant, tout simplement. Paris.
Paris. Okay. What did you think? What did you think? Did you like it? Now, one little thing I didn't tell you about that little town where he lived, Saint-Maur-des-Fossés. He lived right outside that. That the claim to fame, other than the beautiful abbey and the chateau that was destroyed during the French Revolution, that small town had the claim to fame. I looked it up. I was really surprised. Does the name Vincenzo Perugia mean anything to you? Italian name? This is the name of the gentleman who stole the Mona Lisa at the beginning of the 20th century. The Italian guy who snuck into the Louvre, took the Mona Lisa, hid the painting in his place in Paris for a couple years, then went to Italy with it and made the mistake of trying to sell it and was finally arrested. So that was in 1911. And he died in 1925 in that same town where Charles Trénet lived. So there's trivia for you. I found that. I thought that was a cool story, actually. I'm sure nobody really cared when he died, poor thing, because by 1925, the Mona Lisa had exploded into this huge thing, which we're all familiar with now because of that robbery. So, yes, it is fun trivia. So I could see all the comments coming in while Charles was singing. And I know that a lot of you right now are sad because you can't fly, you can't come to Paris, you had to cancel vacations. I've seen messages all week. I've had emails from friends saying, I so wish I could come. And I know it's very hard. I know it's very hard to cancel all those plans, but you have to believe that pretty soon you'll be able to come over, okay? So, oh, hey, first time here. Welcome, welcome. Good. Welcome. Bienvenue chez moi. So please don't be too sad, okay? This is an event where I try to cheer yourself a little bit, cheer you a little bit, cheer you up a little bit, and maybe teach you a few things about France and maybe things you hadn't heard about before. And that's what I'm trying to do here with Apéro with Véro, okay? So, yes, exactly. This too shall pass. And everybody's really sad and disappointed right now. And trust me, it's a little bit different in Paris. I've seen people say, I'd be fine there during the confinement. I'd still do this and that. No, you wouldn't. I mean, Paris right now is very quiet. All the stores are closed. You wouldn't be able to visit friends. You wouldn't be able to go to your favorite, but you wouldn't be able to go see museums, expos, and you wouldn't be able to get very far when you walk around either, because we are pretty limited on how far we can go and for how long. So just wait until you can plan your next vacation, and I'm sure you'll have a great time like you usually do, okay? So, les chaussons aux pommes. Somebody's missing les chaussons aux pommes. Apple turnovers. Yep, they're pretty tasty. So, before we talk about l'apéro, because I have a little, today I'm going to do a different type of apéro. It's going to be more about sweets, if you see what I mean, because it's Easter weekend. So I thought I would do a little bit of an easy French lesson, nothing boring. I keep it light and I keep it useful. That's how I teach French. That's what I've always done when I taught French in Seattle. So we are going to talk a little bit about the French language, just so you can pronounce some words, names of places that may have been challenging you in the past. And in order to do that, I have prepared a little something. So this will take 5 or 10 minutes. It's not very long at all. Get a drink if you don't want to learn French. But you might want to learn how to say those places anyway. It would be good, because if you ask for directions in the street, it's nice to be able to actually say the name of the place, so the person walking, trying to help you, understands where you're trying to go, right? So, I'm going to show this to you. Let's see. Look, I have prepared this beautiful handout in color. Isn't that pretty? You see my little logo in the top left corner, my little Frenchie with the space needle. So this section of the program, my friends, is called "Oh la 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 la," which the French do say, but they see it in different ways to mean different things. So as far as pronunciation goes, sometimes it's more "oh la 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 la," which expresses, I guess, dismay, challenge, being overwhelmed. Okay, so let's talk about something in the French language that's really interesting. It's called nasal sounds. Nasal sounds. And the reason we call them nasal sounds is because they come through your nose and your mouth. So if you actually pronounce those sounds and touch your throat, I'll go back here, let's do this. I'm going to demonstrate. Those nasal sounds are basically a vowel, A, E, I, U, coupled with the letter N and sometimes the letter M. So those two letters create a brand new sound. We don't pronounce them separately. A famous example that you know is the word restaurant. You say restaurant, but the R at the end, that's a nasal sound. It's the A and the N. We don't pronounce them separately. Okay? So we have 4 families of nasal sounds. I hope you have a drink right about now. Brace yourselves. We have the family that's on, the family that's on, the family that's un, and the family that's un. On, un, on, un. On, un, on, un. Have I blown your mind by now? Okay, good news for you. A lot of French people I know, and those I don't know also, some of them have a really hard time pronouncing them exactly right. Does it matter if you can't get them exactly right? Probably not. It doesn't. In fact, if you live in French Canada, in Quebec, pretty much all these nasal sounds sound like one of them, which is un. That was a joke for French Canadians. Sorry. So, because a lot of the sounds to me sound like un in Quebec. So that's one of our 4 nasal sounds. On, un, on, un. On, un, on, un. See, it's hard to do. Okay, so we have four different families, and they can be spelled very differently. You know, spelling is an issue in the French language because we don't pronounce all the letters. Some letters are silent, like the consonants at the end of the longer words. So it's complicated. So I thought we'd dive right in. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay. So we have our 4 families of, do you see them now? The 4 families of nasal sounds. They are right here. The on. Look at all the different spellings possible for on. So you have on. You have the un family. That's the sound you hear in the word pain for bread. P-A-I-N. See, P-A-I-N. A-I-N is one of the spellings. So that's the first one is restaurant, for example. The second one is pain, un. And then the third one is on. O-N or O-M is on. And the last one is un. You know when you count in French? Un, deux, trois, un. Well, that's the 4th family. Okay? So, this is all theory. This is all theory. And so now we need to put it in practice. Otherwise, it's useless to you. No, un is not disappearing. It's not supposed to disappear. It's just some people are being lazy and not pronouncing it right. So, les villes. Let's look at city names. I know those city names can challenge people. Well, if you look at those city names, I have 3 here. Where is my pencil? Oh, I lost my pencil again. Okay. So we have, like I said, artisanal. We have 3 cities here. One is in eastern France, one is in Normandy, and one is, as you go head south, right? The 3rd largest French city, or maybe the 4th. Depending on whom you ask. The first one is the nasal sound that belongs to the 2nd family up there. This family. And it's I know, I've heard people say it. It's a very challenging one. It's not Reims. It's not, I don't know, whatever it is that people say. It is Reims. Reims. So the magical thing here is that we pronounce the R and the S, but in the middle, all three letters are one sound, the same sound we have in bread. Un, pain. So it's Reims. Do you see what I mean by not pronouncing them separately? So it's Reims. You can repeat it. I'll check later if you said it or not. Reims. Reims. Yes, champagne. Of course, Reims. Good stuff there. The second one is Rouen. Now, OU is OU in French. En is one, it's a sound from the first family right here. En. Okay? So we have Rouen. 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 And the third one is the beautiful city of Lyon. So here, O-N is on, which is this family. The Y is pronounced like an I in French, and the I in French is an I. So we say Lyon. Lyon. I've butchered that one. I don't know which one it was, Cindy. Maybe You like this lesson? Good, good, good. All right, so let's repeat together, my friends. Reims, Rouen, Lyon. Reims, Rouen, Lyon. And now, yes, the food is good in Lyon, Steph. A lot of people say it's better than in Paris. It's easier to pronounce after a glass of champagne, Sylvain. That could be true. French language can be easier to pronounce when you've had a drink. Okay, let's continue. Yes, Reims is hard. I thought I would teach you how to pronounce 3 huge landmarks in Paris. Because as a tour guide who goes around Paris with my own groups or Rick Steves groups, I have heard those 3 places pronounced in very, very creative ways. The first one, I have underlined in each one the nasal sounds so you recognize them. And I'll do this so you can kind of go back to the top. See? I think that works. Somebody says, Kathy says, I may never get Reims, right? Yes, you will. Reims. All right. Parisian landmarks. Are you ready for the first one? Everybody's reading. Everybody's listening. Good. Arc de Triomphe. I just blew your mind again. Arc de Triomphe. Arc, the C is pronounced. Sometimes we don't pronounce ending consonants, but in short words like that, we tend to. Arc. The arc, de means of, triumph, the triumphal arc. So, arc de triomphe. Remember the I in French is I? So, arc de triomphe. Arc de triomphe. Yeah, Claudine, I saw what you wrote about the pronunciation. That's funny. The second one is, oh, I'm going to blow your mind on this one. I've heard it all. I've heard Champs-Élysées or I don't know what I've heard. I can't remember. It was awful. So this is what we say for this one. The Elysian Fields. Champ, champ. Again, nasal sound, first family, the en family. I'm lowering it a little bit. Champ. And then the second word is Élysée. We have those small A sounds there. We call it the acute A. I call it the small A because it's not a big A. We have the bigger ones. Champs, Élysée. Notice I don't pronounce the S at the end. I don't pronounce that second E either. That has to do with the gender, and we can talk about that in another lesson. So, you thought you were done with Champs-Élysées, but you're not. Remember how we talked about how the French love aesthetics and they love everything to look, taste, and sound right? They have this obsession about their language. And a long time ago, we decided the language had to be the prettiest language in the world, and it had to sound really musical. Everything had to flow. That's why we say bonjour and not bonjour. You have to be singing when you say bonjour. So here what we do, I don't think it flows very well to say Champs-Élysées. Do you? Where are you going? Je vais aux Champs-Élysées. Not good. So what we want to do is have a liaison, a bridge between that S at the end of the first word and the E that starts the second word. I'm going to link them and pronounce this like a Z. So instead of saying Champs-Élysées, I am going to say Champs-Élysées. Champs-Élysées. Les Champs-Élysées. Doesn't that flow better? Yep, somebody's giving me the instructions how to get there with the metro. Thank you very much. That is correct. Yes, I am doing the liaison Champs-Élysées, Sylvain. I was trying to teach them about that. You have to be patient. Champs-Élysées. Champs-Élysées. So we had Arc de Triomphe, Arc de Triomphe, and then we have Champs-Élysées. And finally, the last one, the Pantheon in English, the Pantheon. Well, in French, TH is a T sound. There's no th. We can't do that sound. Many French people have a horrible time doing TH. So they say z instead. So the Pantheon in French has two nasal sounds. The on sound, the first one, and then the on, the third one. So when we say it, it is Pan, T, on. See the small a again? Pan, T, on. Panthéon. Yes, it flows. It's all about flow. Panthéon. Does it sound more manageable now? I hope it does. I know the comments take a few seconds to pop up. So I suggest we read them one last time, and then we'll go on to the last section of our little program today. We had Reims, get ready, Reims, Rouen, Lyon, and then we have Arc de Triomphe, Champs-Élysées, Champs-Élysées, and Panthéon. Arc de Triomphe, Champs-Élysées, Panthéon. And yes, Anne, that's correct. If you want to practice saying Champs-Élysées, there is a great song you can find on YouTube by a singer known as Jo Dassin. We might listen to it probably next week or the week after. It's a good song. And he keeps saying Champs-Élysées. Oh, Champs-Élysées, da-da-da-da-dum. Oh, Champs-Élysées. So he says it like 50 times in the song. It's a great way to practice it. Okay? Yeah, on pourrait chanter Champs-Élysées. Maybe we will at the end if we have time. I'll stand at the window. We can look at the Parisian rooftops and sing the Champs-Élysées and pretend we're there. How does that sound? Okay. All right. So, that was our little French tutorial. I promise to keep things light. That's what I try to do. So I need to keep my eyes on the time. We have about a little over 10 minutes left, and then, you know, they just cut me off. So I have to be mindful of that. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is food. So today, my drink, my beverage of choice, I'm going to do this so you can see what I have prepared. This is what I have prepared for today for my apéro. And while you look at it and hopefully drool all over it, I will grab my bottle of wine without pulling the microphone out of the phone. It's a good thing I live in a very small place. Okay, so I am going to pour my vino, maybe here. My vino today, friends, is my favorite white wine, Sancerre, from the Loire Valley. Delightful, elegant wine. Goes very well with the type of cheese that I have picked today. It comes in red and rosé versions as well, but I like the white. It's a very beautiful wine, very elegant. Love Sancerre. It's delightful. And so to go with my Sancerre today, I have prepared two of the Chèvre, the goat cheese from the Loire Valley. I mean, they all come literally from the same geographical area. They all came from the same soil, the same terroir. One day we'll talk about terroir more in detail. I got here I'm drawing a blank, a Crottin de Chavignol. This is a Chavignol. And then the other one is Cher that has the ashes around it. And this one I really like. As it ages, it gets harder, and that's the one it gets stronger too. But these two different types of cheese, of goat cheese, the Chèvre, go very well with Sancerre. So whenever you want to have, Vouvray is very good. Vouvray is excellent. In fact, when we toasted our tour members in the Loire Valley, Vouvray is what we would buy. It was really tasty. It's a fun wine too. Pairing, we will talk about the terroir later. You can't just talk about the terroir in 2 minutes, so we'll have to do that a little later. I did not have bread. I don't buy bread every day. I don't like going to the boulangerie and line up, especially right now, for just bread, even though a lot of people do that. So I have my little, I must have been in the US too long, because these are like pita bread or crackers. That's what Americans would do. But I did buy a favorite brand, which is called Michel et Augustin. Petite pita craquante à l'huile d'olive. And it's a pretty good product. There isn't too much bad stuff in it. And they're baked. They're not fried or anything. So I will probably enjoy that. I have my little cherry tomatoes. You can see them. I have some almonds as well. But today what I'd like to talk to you about to finish up with the food is this. Because this is Easter weekend. Why don't we move el queso over there? Have you already seen this? Wait, maybe I need more light in here. Haha, miracle. All right, let's open so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to do this. Voila. Check this out. Okay, I got carried away. Haha, too bad. Dommage, I will have to eat them all. Oh. So what I have here, my friends, is known as friture. Friture. Friture, it comes from to fry, like small fry. You know how you fry small fish that you get in the river, like in the Marne River where Charles Trénet used to live? Well, la friture is something you would get for Easter as a hostess gift. Most good chocolatiers or pâtissier will make it. I have a great pâtissier where I live, and he makes it. I picked the dark chocolate version. It comes in milk chocolate. So it's basically, that Easter is rooted in Christianity. And this is in direct reference to the miraculous catch of fish that is mentioned in the gospel when Christ told the man to throw the net, and then the net came back with a lot of fish in it. So we have the little fishy guy. We have some mussels, shellfish. I think, and here it is, la coquille Saint-Jacques, the scallop shell. So the theme is clearly the sea. Oh, and there's another one that's really cute. So la friture is something that's very popular. Now, of course, a lot of the kids will go and buy their chocolate eggs, and they will buy their, chocolate bells, the bells that came from Rome for Easter, and their chocolate bunnies. But a lot of people like me who live alone and don't need a whole lot of chocolate are going to get a bag of this and just sample it throughout the week. It's going to be great. So la friture, I wanted to introduce you to this. Something about Valrhona. Yeah, you bought one. Good. Yeah, so good for Poisson d'Avril. That's right. For April's Fools, you could use that too, because it's little fish basically. Huh? I think I'll start with the shell. It's very pretty. And it's quite tasty too. It's very good chocolate. My guy is a good guy. So we have a few minutes left, and I think I'll spend them at the window. They will give me the heads up before it stops. So I'm going to take my wine. And I want to thank you for coming today. We had up to 110 people, I think, at some point. And we're at about 107 now. So I want to thank you for coming. I know you love this little view from the seventh heaven on the Parisian rooftops. Letting you listen to the birds. And above those buildings, by the two big cranes, you can see the Bois de Vincennes. And on the other side of that would be where Charles Trénet used to live. So I want to thank you for coming. I want to wish you a happy Easter. Make the most of it. I know it'll be a different type of Easter. I want to raise my glass to you, all my Francophile friends who love Paris and France and follow me on French Girl in Seattle, on Facebook, on Instagram, on the blog, who come here and meet me. It's a new tradition, and I'm really glad that it's taking off and you seem to be enjoying it. And if you'd like me to create more content like this and more events like this, please consider supporting me on Patreon. I just launched that 2 weeks ago, and it's taking off nicely. And especially right now, it would mean a lot to me. So the link is in the profile on in the bio on Instagram, and you can find it everywhere. So thank you. Santé. À votre santé. I can't look at you in the eye, but I am there in spirit, looking at you in the eye as I say santé, to your good health. And I think we still have a few minutes because they will let me know when it's over, supposedly. I hope so, at least. If not, they'll cut me off. And I'll try and repost the replay. I goofed last week, but I'm going to try and post the replay on YouTube, and then I'll be able to share it on Facebook. And it'll be in the stories on Instagram anyway for 24 hours. So you can go back to it and take some notes and study your French pronunciation. Okay, so hopefully that'll work. And if it doesn't stop, I'll just keep talking because I'm very chatty. First, I'll take a sip of wine. Sancerre, my friends. Sancerre. It's good. So I hope you have fun plans for Easter, even though we can't really go anywhere or get together with people. But I hope that you still get to celebrate Easter the way that it should be celebrated. I will be up here, as always, and getting entertained by some of my neighbors and their antics in I don't know if you see them down there. They're kind of playing. Some of them are lucky to have a big green space to share between the buildings, and there's that cute little house down there where they have their own patio. I'm so envious of them. So it's yeah, I have balcony envy big time this week, and the weather has been so pretty. À bientôt, Denis. À bientôt. I'll see you next week. Huh? We're doing this again next week. So I hope you come back, and please tell your friends. The more, the merrier. So just let your friends let them know that if they want to hear about Paris and France, they should come back and visit Apéro with Véro. Okay. And I don't think Instagram is going to cut me off at all. I think I'm going to keep talking until midnight. I don't have a clock on me. I mean, a watch on me, so I don't know. Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, I still have a few minutes. Good, 2 or 3 minutes. 2 minutes, perfect. Well, we can just, I'll read à la prochaine. Merci, santé. The view is everything. Yes, it is. Because when you live in 265 square feet, yeah. Yeah, I mentioned it was called Friture, and I said that, Friture, Friture. Oh, did somebody ask how it was spelled, maybe? That's why you wrote it? That was nice, thank you. Yeah, so it's just a pretty place, and it's very peaceful. And with the weather being what it is, it's been really nice because I work with both my windows open. I have one on either side of the studio, and so it feels like summer, and I'm stuck inside all afternoon, all evening, but I can still leave the windows open. The sun is coming in, the breeze is coming in, so that's kind of nice. I think I'll finish right about here in a few seconds because I like the shadows on this wall. And the birds are not here right now, but they were quite lively this morning. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I see all the merci. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here and listening to me. And please send suggestions. Tell me what you liked. Tell me why. Tell me what you'd like to do. Did you like the French pronunciation? Did you like the little tour with Charles Trénet around Paris? Oh, here are my birds. Here they are. So let me know what you liked, okay? And I will be happy to tweak this so it entertains and keeps informing you. So have a bon weekend, my friends. I'm going to stop it now. À bientôt. Au revoir. Happy Easter. Joyeuse Pâques.